dear student. So today we will start our first chapter from the civic side. And before that already I have sent two videos to you. First chapter from the history side and first chapter from the geography side. I hope you have prepared all the two chapters. So today we will start our first chapter from the civic side. And the name of our chapter is the Indian Constitution. Okay, so the Indian Constitution, it means before starting the chapter and before explaining anything about the chapter, first of all I just want to explain the meaning of the Constitution to you. What is Constitution? Constitution, it means a set of rules and regulation, and it is in a written form. So just to tell me why this rules and regulation is necessary. Is this rules and regulation is necessary for your life? Of course, yes. Because without rules and regulation, your life is not in a proper sense. Okay, suppose if you are playing any game, either football, either cricket, so obviously you are also preparing some rules for that particular game. And if you are not preparing any rules, so in that condition, you cannot find that who will win the game and who will lose the game. So that's why in a systematic format anything, that's why the rules and regulation is necessary. Okay. So after you know that when our country got independence from the British rule, because in the history side I have explained you that we are in this class 8, we are talking about the modern history, and in this modern history we will complete look after about how the India get the independence from the British rule. Okay, so our country India got freedom 15th August 1947. Okay, so when our country India got freedom from the British rule, okay, so when at the time a new type of rules and regulation is necessary to just continue our countries in a proper format, to run our country in a proper format. So rules and regulation is started. So first of all, it means in the Indian National Congress, it will talk about the Indian National Congress. So Indian National Congress in 1935, he had just a demand for making the constitution for our country India. Okay, so that's why this demand, it's after it means this demand is come into the force. Okay, and after that our country and the member of our country, they are preparing the constitution for our country. Okay, and in this constitution, all the things, it means all the rules and regulation, that all the things are come in a written form. Okay, so if we talk about our Constituent Assembly, it means before the independence, it means in 1946. Okay, because our country India get the freedom in 1947. So in 1947, United Kingdom, they have just sent a type of rules and regulation to our country, and it means they have just sent a format to us, and in this format they are just circulate an order, and according to that order, our country India will free from the British rule, and in this they have also given some set of rules and regulation also. So at the time, it means 9 December 1946. Okay, just remember that, because in this type of, it means sometimes this type of dates will come in a short question. So 9 December 1946, a Constituent Assembly is formed. Constituent Assembly, it means a complete And in this Constituent Assembly, about 300 members are there. And these 300 members, okay, they have just give their view to make a constitution, okay. And in this Constituent Assembly, we can say that Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, okay. So Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar was the chairman of this Constituent Assembly, and because he has just in their guidance the constitution is prepared, so we can say that the Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar is also known as the father of Indian Constitution. Okay, just remember that Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar is also known as the father of our Indian Constitution. And so you have to hear that why we are just preparing, and why just it is needed to make a constitution. Already I have explained you that to run our country in a proper manner, this rules and regulation is necessary. But we can say that it is not much easy task to prepare a constitution. Okay. So when all the members, they are just discussing about to preparing the constitution, they have faced some problem also. It means before the independence, it means the Indian National Congress, they are in the majority. Okay, the Indian National Congress, they get the majority, and the Muslim committee, they just lose the majority. So the Muslim, they want separate state for them. So at the time they have just demanded the separate state for them, that Pakistan, and it means most of the members, they don't want to creation of the separate state for the Muslim, that is Pakistan. But unfortunately it is not possible. It means they are, so anyhow they want to fulfill their demand to make the separate state for them. So the separate state is there. You go and see that Pakistan and Bharat, India. Okay. So this is also one main problem, that Muslim want some separate state, and because India is a very much vast country. Okay. So in this vast country, so many people are there. They follow different language. They are just follow different culture. They follow different religion. Okay. So according to that, it means to form our constitution, this thing also keep in that mind. This according to that, they were just creating their constitution. And one more thing is that all the people, okay, it means the majority people are also there, the minority people are also there. So all the things are included in this constitution, that the minority people will not suffer by the majority people. So in this way we can say that this type of difficulties faced by the Constituent Assembly when they are making the constitution. Okay. So if we talk about our constitution, so in our constitution, because we are just talking about the formation of our constitution. So in our constitution there are 395 articles. Okay. And in this 395 articles, there are 22 parts and 8 schedules. After that, it was just what is the schedules are there. The schedules are, it means after the amendment, these 8 schedules are just elaborated. It is are 12 schedules. Okay. So it means if we are talking about our constitution. So in our constitution there are 395 articles are there, 22 parts are there, and 8 schedules, and after the amendment there are 12 schedules are there. So in this way we can say that this constitution is the very big and very long written constitution of our country India. It means if we compare to the another country, so we can say that our constitution is a very long written constitution of the whole world. So in this way you can understand this is the formation of our constitution. Okay, so it means already our constitution is prepared in 26th November 1949, but it is come into the force. Okay, it means we have just applied our constitution. It is come into the force in 26th January 1950. Okay, so here I think one question raised in your mind, that if our constitution is prepared in 26th November 1949, then why we have adopted it in 26th January 1950? Okay, so there was one reason is there, that that before the independent, okay, it means before some year of the independent, some freedom fighters, they have just declared the date of independence. Okay, it means already they have announced the date that on 26th January we will celebrate our Independence Day. Okay, but unfortunately it is not happened. So to give the importance of this date, it means 26th January, they have just announced that 26th January 1930 they have announced the date. So they have just announced that 26th January will celebrate our Independence Day, but it was not possible. So that's why, to give the importance of that particular date, we have just adopted our constitution on 26th January 1950. Already they have prepared in 26th November 1949, but we have just wait for that particular date. Okay, so after that, it means already I have just told you that our constitution is very much important for us. Okay, because to run our country in a proper manner, so this constitution is needed, and in this constitution so many important features are there. If we talk about the preamble, okay, so preamble is the introduction part of the constitution. Okay, in this preamble all the types of features are there, and we can say that this is the introduction part of our constitution. So now we'll discuss about some important features of the constitution. So one by one I will just write all the features here, and after that I will start explain the features to you. Okay, so here we are talking about the features. Our first feature is federalism. Second, that is parliamentary form of government. If you see the book also in the PDF, so you can see all the features are there. So I am just writing only the points are there. Okay, and after that I will start the explanation to you. And third feature is the separation of power. Our fourth feature is secularism. Next is directive principle of state policy. And the next is, that is living constitution. And two more features are there, that is fundamental rights and fundamental duties, that I have explained to you separately. Okay, so first of all we'll talk about the federalism. Okay, what is what is federalism? Okay, federalism, it means you know that our country India is very vast country. Okay, and in this type of country, there are so many peoples are there. They follow different. It means they speak different language. They follow different religions. Okay, it means their customs are different. So in this way, we can say that in the federalism, there are different types of government are there. It means in this type of federalism, yeah, in this type of government, government is divided. It means central government and state government. Okay, in this central government and state government, they are just do the duty for the peoples of India. Okay, it means central government is there, state government is central government. They work for the state central level, and if the state government is there, so state government is do the work for the state level. And except this, Panchayati Raj is also there, and this Panchayati Raj, it will just take care of the need of the people, those who are living in a village. Okay, so it means we can say that that is the federalism, and this federalism is a very important feature of the Indian Constitution. If we talk about the second feature, that is the parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form of government, it means you know that in our country India, okay, the people have right to choose their representative. Okay, with the help of, it means the people give the vote. With the help of their vote, they can choose their representative, and this representative do the work for their welfare. Okay, and it means we can say that with the help of universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise, I think you know the concept of universal adult franchise. It means those who are the citizen of our country India, and their age is above 18 years. They have the right to give the vote. Either he belong from any of the part of the country, either he are male or female, okay, and either he follow any religion, either he speak any language, he or she can right to give the vote. Okay, so separation of power, it means we can say that in this type of features, separation of power, it means three forms are there. That is the legislature, executive and judiciary. It means power is just divided in this feature, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. So legislature, it means those who make the law, and if we talk about the executives, so executive, it means those who execute that law, and judiciary, it means they are just justify and they are just enforce that this law is just followed or not. So in this type of separation of power, three forms are there, that is the executive, legislature and judiciary. And if we talk about the next, that is the secularism. Okay, so in the secularism there are, it means you know that our country India is a secular country. Secular country, it means there are no any specific religions are there. Okay, it means in this our country India, all the religions are equal, and all the peoples, those who are following any particular religions, they can just follow their own religion, their customs. Okay, so we can say that this is also the important features of the secularism. Here we have just skipped one point, that is the parliamentary form of government. Okay, point number 2. So I just explained to you parliamentary form of government. So in this parliamentary form of government, we can say that there are two types of houses are there. You know that Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Okay, so power is just distributed in the power Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha, it means the upper house, and Lok Sabha, that is the lower house. So Rajya Sabha, it is just to do the work for the state, okay, and Lok Sabha, it is the lower house, and those who are the member of the Lok Sabha, it means people directly elect the member of the Lok Sabha. It means people have the right to choose the member of the Lok Sabha with the help of the voting system. Okay, and if we talk about the directive principle of state policy. Directive principle of state policy, it means according to this, it means this features include that it means this is provide the people to social and equal justice. Okay, it means this directive principle of state policy, this is provide the social and equal justice to the people. It means this is also do the work for the welfare of the country. And it means according to this directive principle of state policy, whatever the property or the whatever the wealth is there, this wealth not in only the few hands. It means whatever the wealth is there, it is just equally distributed to all the peoples. Okay, it means wealth is not only in the few hands. And if we talk about the next, that is the living constitution. Living constitution. Living. So our constitution, this is the living constitution. Why it is known as the living constitution? Because in our constitution there are some provisions are there. Because those who are the makers of our constitution, they know that time to time updation is necessary. Suppose if you are, it means nowadays everybody is very much familiar about the Android mobile. Okay, and there are so many applications are there. But in that application also some updation is required. Okay, if the updation is not there, so it will not work properly. Same thing if will applied in our life also. Okay, so in our life also updation is required. If will not update ourselves also, so maybe we are not, it means very much creative. Okay, so that's why the updation is also required. So those who are the makers of our constitution, they also think the same thing, that updation is also required in this constitution. So in this way we can say that our constitution is a living constitution. It means time to time some changes are there, and this changes is known as the amendment. Okay, so time to time some amendment is also there in our constitution. So this amendment just will give the features to our constitution, that is the living constitution. Okay, so here the sixth feature I have explained to you. First, that is the federalism. Second, that is parliamentary form of government. Third, that is separation of power. Then fourth, secularism. Fifth, directive principle of state policy. And sixth, that is living constitution. And except this 6 features, 2 more important features are also there. First, that is fundamental duties and fundamental rights. Okay, so now I will explain to you about the fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Okay. Okay, so I hope you understand all the points, and now we will start the fundamental rights. First of all, we talk about the fundamental rights, then we talk about the fundamental duties. Fundamental rights. There are main 6 fundamental rights are there. Okay. First, that is right to equality, right to freedom. Third, that is right to exploitation. Sorry, the right spelling is wrong, so I'll just correct it. This all the rights you can see in your book also, some rights are there. So with the help of this you can just continue it. Right to next right, that is right to freedom of religion. Next, that is cultural and educational rights. And last, that is remedies. Okay, so one by one I will explain you all the fundamental rights to you. First, that is right to equality. Right to equality, it means all the peoples are equal in the eyes of law. Okay, right to equality, it means all the peoples have equal right to follow their own culture. Okay, and they are equal in the eyes of law, and it means any type of we can say that untouchability is just prohibited in our constitution. Okay, our constitution gives the equal rights to every citizen of country. Either it means they can go anywhere. Okay, it means if they want to go any public places. Okay, so every people go to the public places freely. So these rights give the right to equality. These rights give the equality to all the peoples. It means main thing is that all the peoples are equal in the eyes of law. If we talk about the second right, that is right to freedom. Right to freedom. It means in this type of right some things are there. Freedom. It means they are free. Okay. So all the peoples are free to settle any part of the country. All the peoples are free to follow any religion. All the peoples are free to do any profession, any job if they want. So they are free to do any type of job. And all the peoples are free to set up, it means because right to freedom, it means according to that right, they are free to follow any religion. So in this same rights give the right to us that if they want to assemble, okay, in a peaceful manner without the arms. So this right also ensure the same thing that all the peoples have right that they can assemble in a peaceful manner without the arms. Okay, and in the same manner, if they are just want to follow the union or the assemblies, so they can also follow free to them. And if they want to just start their own institution, okay, and in this institution they just want to give the education of their religion, so it means they are free. So you can see some madrasas are also there, and some jail committees also there. It means their religious schools are there. So it means all the peoples are free for that. And the third right actually that is right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. It means we the people of India, we have the right, and according to that right, if any exploitation, it means social. Okay, so we have the right to that we can raise our voice for that. It means in this type of right, the Child Labor Prohibition Act is there. Okay, it means any child, their age is under 14 years, so any of the member they cannot just carry to them for the job. Okay, so it means if you have exploited, so you have the right against exploitation. It means you can raise your voice for that. Next, that is right to freedom of religion. It means the same thing is that because India is a secular country, so every people have the right to freedom of religion. It means whatever the religion they want to follow, they can follow it, and whatever the festivals are there, whatever the customs, rules and regulations of their religion, so they are free to follow that. Next, that is cultural and educational right. Cultural and educational right, it means the people have right to follow their culture. Okay. And in this way they also just free for the education also. They can just decide their culture, they can spread their culture. And next, that is right to constitutional remedies. Right to constitutional remedies. We can say that in this all the rights, this right is very much important right. Right to constitutional remedies. Why? Because according to the right to constitutional remedies, if you are not getting any of the right, so you can approach to the court. Okay? It means if you are not getting any of the right, so you can raise your voice and you can approach to the court for the same. And one more right is also include, we can say that is the seventh number of right, that is right to education. It is just adopted in our constitution in 2009. Right to education, RTE. Okay, so it means in this type of right, it is just mentioned that every child have the right to get the education. Okay, so it means in this type of right, all the children, their age is 6 to 14 years. So the government is also have some provision. It means government also established some schools for that, free and compulsory education for all. It means this all are our rights, fundamental rights, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies, and one more right, that is the right to education. It is started in 2009. So this all are our rights. So that I have explained that right is necessary. Okay. So in the same manner, we have some duties also. Okay. So in our article 51A, in their fourth A part, it is written there that all the people have some fundamental duties also. Okay, but always it is just, we can say that the human nature, that we are always ready for taking the right, but people are not ready to follow their duties. Okay, so what is our fundamental duties? Because our fundamental duties also written in our constitution. And this fundamental duties, it is not very much tough duties that we cannot follow it. It is very simple duties that we should just respect our national anthem. Okay, it means whenever our national anthem is sung, we have just give the respect to them. Our national symbols are there, so we should just give the respect to them. And we just take care of our public property. In the same manner that we have to take care of our private property. So in the same manner, we have to take care of our public property also. And we have just, because we are the citizen of this country, so we should just maintain the decorum of our country. Okay, it means any of the activity that is not good for our country, we don't do that type of activity that is not good for our country. And in the same manner, we should just take care of our environment also. We should not pollute them. Okay, so these are the simple duties are there in your book also. Some duties are there. So already I have just told you that because we are just ready to take the rights. In the same manner, we are just ready to give the duties also. Okay, whatever our duties are there. So always we should just ready. It means whenever our country needs us. Okay. So at the time, whenever it is required, so we have to just ready for that to give our duties in our country. Okay. So here you have just to read about the constitution and the constitution assembly, constituent assembly also I have explained the features. It means whatever the features of our constitution that I have already explained you. Our fundamental duties, our fundamental rights. So here this particular chapter is completed. Okay, so please go through this chapter. Okay, and first of all, just read this chapter once. So in the same manner, if you read the chapter, so you will just clear all the points. And so please read the chapter and go through the topic. Thank you.